Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. Tate, happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good one, and unlike me, I hope you can still go to the same spot on your belt that you could before, because I'm one down.
I understand. I'm in the same boat. I'm glad you said that to the viewers. If you hear a grumbling, it is my stomach. I started back today of protein shake only.
Oh, wow.
Diet. So yes, I'm down a belt loop or a grommet on the belt loop. Need to get it back.
Listen, I'm one of those.
What's your
people.
favorite, by the way? Your top three.
Easy.
You can only pick three. Go.
In terms of what to eat for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
You got to have dressing, or it's not Thanksgiving.
With gravy?
Of course.
Agreed.
You got to have turkey, even though I like some meat, other meats better, but it's Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Turkey.
Okay.
And then my third one, I'm going to do maybe a little surprise for you. I feel like you've got to have pumpkin pie.
We're a pecan pie family.
Me too.
We had both.
Me too, but I feel like Thanksgiving, pumpkin pie has to be there.
Those are strong.
And what are your three?
Dressing and gravy.
Of course.
Or stuffing.
Thus the notch on the belt.
Dumplings.
Oh.
My mom makes dumplings. They're knock your socks off. It's non-negotiable. And then my wife makes which I know it sounds funny, but you got to have it, broccoli, cheese, and rice casserole.
That sounds good to me.
Oh. I might go the whole weekend and not eat a bite of turkey. Not because I don't like it. It's just not room.
On my wife's side of the family, and this is trust me, anybody that's ever tried this, I've had her bring it to events at school, pretzel salad. It sounds completely terrible.
No,
but
sounds
it's
good
not.
to me.
The base is pretzel, like a crushed up pretzel, and it's got like strawberry and gelatin and whipped cream, and
Brings a little salt, a little crunch.
it's unbelievable.
I'm in.
Was that your stomach I just heard?
Yeah, but maybe. I'm telling you. I'm already texting my wife. What time's dinner? Stop. That's okay.
Tate, listen, while you were out,
Did I lose my spot?
no way. We're not doing that. But Coach Hester, he stepped up, did a nice job.
Right.
He really did.
Well, we've talked about this. One, Coach Hester is highly intelligent. He is. He's witty, and he's well-spoken. And he's been doing this a while. Now, had Coach Hester come in here 15 years ago, the Laverne,
Been
Coach
rough.
Hester I first met had been rough. But no, he's really good at it.
Coach Hester.
It wouldn't have been the same product. But no, Coach he's great at that. I've had him fill in on my radio show before.
Heard he did a good job there, too.
He did.
He and Justin Lamb holding it down.
Yep, second time they've done it. Really good. Actually, one year he and Whitlock did it. Good. He'll tell you, it's not easy to do until you get behind that microphone for an entire hour and it's just you.
There it is.
It's harder than you think it is.
I'm sure it's very difficult. That's why you got to have guests, right?
But yes, it was exactly. Yes, it was great. Y'all did a great job.
Tate, before we talk about football, and we're very excited, obviously, that we're playing for another state championship. Page High School, once again, who they're stepping up like Brentwood in terms of being that WCS team or school in the championship.
In the championship, they've had a great fall, and to get back there, it's just really cool. It's you never ever take this for granted, but the way they got there this year, it was a different story, a different path, but man, very cool.
Which reminds you maybe a little bit of that Ravenwood situation when they got beat in the final, and then they won it.
Coach Hester and I talked about this weekend.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Before we
It
get
does.
there, though, let's do this. Let's talk bowling. We got the bowling district tournament this week. We've been updating this the past few weeks. Franklin boys and girls both finished 14-0 on the season. On the girls' side, Independence finishes second at 11-3. On the boys' side, Nolensville finishes second at 11-3. Want to give a shout out. Braden Didier, still the highest average on the boys' side, 219. His teammate, Drew Whalen, 196 is second. So obviously Braden getting it done. Annika Midgley, 169 average. On the girls' side, Ashley Johnson, 161. Want to give those individuals a shout out. Now, Tate, something a little bit different for our viewers. We like to hit all sports.
We do. No, we do hit all sports.
Thank you for the correction, because you're right. Let's talk, let's do a little tournament bracket. This didn't go into our football picks, although I probably need it to, since I've been mathematically eliminated in first place. But let's take a look at this girls' side. So let me go through the seedings. Franklin 1 plays Centennial 8. In the same side of the bracket, we've got Brentwood Page at 4 and 5. Nolensville, the 3 seed, takes on Ravenwood. Fairview, the 7 seed, takes on Indy, the 2 seed. Girls' bracket, let's go through. Who do you have coming from that top side?
Oh, in the semifinals?
Who you got?
Okay, Franklin.
I'm going Franklin as well. Brentwood Page.
Oh, yeah, Page. Little bit of an upset there.
A little bit. I almost
4-5's hard to call an upset.
I almost picked that, but on
Page.
the girls' side, I'm going Brentwood. I might change that on the boys' side.
Okay.
All right, what about the 3 seed Nolensville versus Ravenwood?
I'm going with Nolensville.
I agree, Nolo. Indy, the 2 seed in Fairview. Who you got there?
Too big of a gap here. Independence.
Independence. So Tate is going Page here. Okay, so semifinals, I have Franklin Brentwood. I'm going Franklin.
Franklin.
Okay. Nolensville Indy, I have Nolo.
I have Nolo.
Okay.
Maybe great minds think alike. Hopefully.
Maybe. In the championship, who you got? So we're both going Franklin Nolensville.
I'm going with Nolensville.
Oh.
Coach McCulley, first-year head coach, Hall of Fame band director in WCS, been here a long time. I think the Lady Knights get the district championship in bowling. I'm going, and this is a big upset. It would be the first loss of the season. Nolo.
Franklin.
I had an idea.
Maybe we should count these brackets because it'd be. All right, let's go to the boys' side real quick. So we've got 1 and 8, Franklin Ravenwood, 4-5, once again Brentwood Page, 3-6 Centennial Indy, Fairview's the 7 seed, Nolensville is 2. Let's go boys' side. I'll pick first. I'm going Franklin Page on that top side. Franklin and Page.
Oh, I'm going Franklin and Brentwood.
Okay. Bottom side, I'm going Centennial Nolensville. The 3 and the 2 move on.
I have the same.
Okay. So that means our semis, you go first.
Franklin up top.
So you got Franklin.
Yes, sir.
I agree. I'd pick Franklin.
Nolensville down bottom. Coach McCulley and Coach Logan.
I agree.
Again.
So we're both saying it's Franklin Nolo in both finals.
Yes.
That'd be fun. And who you got winning?
Where does Mr. Didier go to school?
Franklin.
219.31. Where does Mr. Whalen go to school?
Franklin.
196.9. No offense, Nolo. I'm going with the Admirals, excuse me.
I'm going Franklin as well. So we agree on that one, Franklin to win. Okay, it'll be fun.
A little separation on the.
A little different on a couple picks.
Yeah, I like it.
Tate, let's talk a little football. Now, I want to make sure we give it its due because we were out last week.
Yep.
We got to talk about that quarterfinal, Page versus Nolensville. I would say it wasn't enough to keep up. I was the only person that picked Page. Everybody else picked Nolensville, the fans, yourself, Dr. Qualls. I went with Page. I just felt it. Plus, I said I was going to keep picking them.
That's right.
But I'm going to tell you this. In that game, the first half felt like Nolensville was really in control. Obviously, that was a rematch of the season. It ended up being the region championship game, 27-21 at Nolensville. They play again at Nolensville. But to me, they felt like they could have been up double digits, and they weren't.
Right.
So I thought that maybe that had an impact. But I will say this. I was talking to Charles Pulliam about this. He had me on at halftime of the WAKM show. I said, if Nolo wins, it's going to be double digits. If it comes down to the end, play here or there, it's going to be Page. And it's what ended up happening.
You're right.
Both teams really good. You hated to see Coach Darrin and that squad get beat. What a great year they had. But it felt like if it went on 6 or 7 more minutes, it could have been the other way.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when the game ended.
It was like the first one. I mean, it
really was.
It kind of came down to who had the ball last. But you're right. But that's football, right? Postseason football. turnovers, penalties, mistakes, things like that, not capitalizing on opportunities, and they had a chance to put them away. And it sounds cliche, corny, but like you cannot let a team like Page hang around. They did, and it ended up biting them. But I think we all agree whoever won this game was going to end up in Chattanooga, and Page won, and Page has ended up in Chattanooga. But you're right, they came out and they struck quick, but then Hurd, man, and Hurd's got so many. That's Page, Nolensville did too, but they had like the big three, the big four. Coach Rathbone, I was talking to him about it, man. It seems like every single skilled person contributes every game.
7 receivers caught a pass in that game.
7.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, man. And they're making plays. And, the list just goes on from Ains to Kaysen, to Hazard, to Walker, Hurd, And again, first full year as a quarterback. Think about that, man.
Well, Coach Rathbone said it last year. Listen, if we didn't have McNamara, we'd be okay.
Right.
We've got another dude that can do it, and he's right. Hurd obviously getting it done defensively too. Now, he's been a little banged up, so that's been obviously a little bit less. But he's a young man, especially you take a look, at his stats, 3 second-half passing touchdowns, 23 for 40, 271. He had an even bigger game against Henry County.
Yes.
He's hitting his stride almost.
He is.
If he is pretty close to 100%, let's hope he is, look out in that championship. He's a winner.
That's what I was going to say.
Winner.
The kid's just a winner.
Winner.
I guarantee you can put him on the lacrosse field, and he'll be one of the best lacrosse players. He maybe plays, I don't know, but the guy's he's a winner, man. And and it's the other thing, and it's in both games. But he went 23 for 40, 271 yards, had 3 touchdowns, right? Caden Walker, 15 carries, 73 yards. What do you have in the next game? It was a little bit more than that, but very similar. You cannot overlook the importance of those 73 rushing yards.
And playing defense too.
And playing defense too. Because if it was all pass, it changes how Nolensville does it. They had to respect the run.
If you take a look in that game, so I thought a couple things were big. Number one, maybe the play of the game was the first touchdown by Page. They're trying to kick a field goal to cut the lead to 7-3. It gets botched. Kaysen, who's the holder, picks it up. 6-yard touchdown to Eric Hazard. So they're trying for 3 and end up with 7.
Yes.
That was big. The other thing was that starting the second half, Page striking quickly, scoring a couple of times. One was the Hurd to Henry Kaysen, and then they're hooking up a lot now.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, it was Collins and Smith every time. It's Kaysen a lot now.
Oh, yeah.
And then you talked about Ains. He gets the scoop and score to put them up 21-14.
Every game, he's around the ball.
He's around the ball. So you're thinking, okay, maybe they have momentum. They're going to just run through this. No. Eric Harper, another touchdown from Kobe Walton. We saw them hook up not only in this game a couple times, but all season long. And that thing just kept going back and forth and back and forth. What a wonderful game. The thing about when you see teams like this, sometimes those games don't live up to the hype. I went to both of them. They lived up to the hype, both games.
Both games, both crowds.
I remember game day there.
Both atmosphere. Oh, yeah. I love their and the halftime performance. Was it as good? Couldn't have been, right?
Well, the bands don't play.
In playoffs?
They must not, because they didn't that night. I know they would have, so I think that
Hey,
might be a playoff
and all those
thing.
names you mentioned, and Ethan Listman was the leading receiver on the night for
Incredible.
Page. I got to ask you though, as a coach, you were talking about that muffed, botched field goal attempt ends up being a touchdown. Like when you're on the other headset, on the other side. I mean, that's not expected. So it's not like you had that thing drawn up. That's probably like in basketball when you have it defended perfectly, and the guy hits a 3 and gets fouled and one, and like he couldn't hit the shot again. If they had tried that 25 times, they're not getting that touchdown conversion.
No, they're not.
But they did the one they needed.
Yeah, when the game's over, you probably look and go, maybe it was just their night.
Yep.
Because that obviously, and then the scoop and score too, which is not a typical thing that would happen. Hey, I do want to shout out some of these Nolensville seniors who had great years. Kobe Walton, another big night for him, 346 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Eric Harper, 143 yards on 3 receptions, a couple touchdowns. Chance Fitzgerald, 9 receptions, 131 yards and a touchdown. And playing his final game, we love this young man, Samson Johnson, another rushing touchdown. He had 56 yards rushing, 27 receiving. You talking about a guy, of all those names we just mentioned, in terms of making a 4-year impact, nobody any more than Samson.
I don't know of many ever in the history of
Pretty
the
impressive.
district that have the 4-year career that he has. And, you know, that's what's crazy about this sport. And it's also crazy about how this sport has changed. Just think about that. If you don't know anything about the game, except I tell you, Kobe went 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eric Harper, 143. What do you say?
They win.
Oh, Nolensville won.
By double digits.
Crazy, man. Page, 71 offensive plays. Nolensville, 47. That's crazy.
47.
That's a lot of plays, man.
It really was. And in fact, Tate, let's talk about this week's gym. You alluded to one of them, which was the 71 and 47. The previous week against White County, to kind of add to this, it was 84 and 47. So in both of those weeks, Nolensville not running, or a big difference in the plays that are run. Do you think that's made a difference in this game? You're talking about 24 more plays. Well, maybe at the end of the game, takes a toll on your defense.
It could.
Having to play that many plays. So,
and there's two-way players in there too. I mean, Coach Derek's done a good job of 2 platooning where he can, but there's several two-way guys in there. So yeah, it probably did happen.
Not that Nolensville tried to do this. It was the nature of this game and the Page offense. But I've said this at the next level. Those guys that run those quick offenses, I don't think that's ultimately winning you the title. I just don't.
It's hard.
I think it can get you there, or it makes a mediocre team a little bit better. But when you have that kind of disparity in plays, and it's not what happened with Nolensville. They weren't necessarily like no huddling and doing all that stuff. I just think to ultimately win it, those teams don't win it.
Yeah. 80, what'd you say, 84 and 4?
It's like 84-47.
And
you can't.
White County was running the football. That's not like killing the clock a whole bunch.
And it's not like Nolensville can't help that they're scoring. I mean, you want to try to score.
Right.
But I'm just thinking that might have taken a little bit of toll on their team. You know, somebody told me, our buddy DP told me this. He said, what makes it tough on the defense when you play that many plays as opposed to the offense? He said, what's every defender been told? Go to the ball till the whistle blows. So they're expending more energy.
Yeah.
Going for the ball till the whistle blows. Well, if you run 10 and 12 play drives, or you don't get to sit down long because your offense scores so quick, that can make a difference at the end.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But so yes, I think it does. But then I start thinking about it. Page had to go through Green Hill, Mount Juliet, and now Nolensville. I mean, they weren't on fresh legs either.
Right. Well, it's just in a game that's that hotly and closely contested. I think we all look at ways. Maybe this thing made the difference.
Right.
That field goal that got muffed into a touchdown was the difference. It shows you how close the two teams are.
Your scoop and score and your field goal attempt turned into a touchdown.
Makes a big difference.
That's what you can look to.
Hey, let's talk about that semifinal.
Golly.
So now Page advances to the semis. They go play at one of the toughest places to play in the state. They go to Henry County, who they beat 56-52 at Page last year. And people forget this. Henry County had the game won.
Had it.
And then Page just snatched it away from them. So they had circled this one going, let's hope we play Page at our place. Well, be careful what you wish for. They score in the first 5 plays, Henry does. They go up 7-0, so you're thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be Henry County making it to the final. But what happens? Page responds, 14 straight points. Then Page gets behind early in the third quarter, 17-14. What happens? They score 2 touchdowns in a row. You get Hurd with a couple of touchdown passes to Boyce Smith that give them the lead 27-17. Henry scores late. They try an onside kick. By the way, Isaac Power, the sophomore, who's been stepping up big for them, catching some balls, recovers that onside kick. He's a basketball player too, so you figure he's got the good hands. But he seals the win for them on that recovery. So, Paige, when you start talking about, oh, they're behind, it's not working out, and they're going on the road, and they play they've got the feel of a team that maybe there's some destiny on their side.
I think so, and they feel like a complete team. And you're right, Isaac Power, the sophomore, newcomer this year, and that touchdown pass that he took in was an athletic play, man. He caught it and made some moves, got in space, and took it to the end zone. He's an athletic kid. And then Boyce Smith, here you go. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's stepping up. They just got so many weapons. So, yeah. And then the other thing that I thought was really cool, from talking to Coach Crabtree, Henry County's a good football team. Really good football team.
Have they ever made the final?
Oh, yeah, they won it twice in 5A.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I should know that, but I don't. I know we've knocked them off a few times.
2012 and like 2018 or something. But 20 for 28, 360 yards in the semifinals against a really good football team. I know I say that every week. That's hard to do in practice, man. He's doing that in a game and playing some defense and running the football. So, yeah, that was big. And then I know you want to shout out your man, the defensive end, the freak, Eric Hazard, man. He's as good looking of a dude in pads.
10 sacks.
10 sacks.
Sophomore.
Ronan O'Connell. We don't talk about the line enough. That Page offensive line, obviously he's the leader. He's playing both ways. 6 tackles, 2 tackle for a loss. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they got all the pieces. And, I was asking, you mentioned him earlier, DP. How much does it matter? Because this is obviously a different team than last year. All that, well, they were here last year, so now they know what to expect. You buy into that, or?
I do.
Okay.
I do personally. And I do in a couple different ways. Number one, especially a football team, a lot of these kids were around it. And number two, even if they weren't, it sort of sets up this expectation that, I guess we're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I think that happens. I had teams at Beach back-to-back went to the state tournament. If it would have been reverse, if that second team would have been the first team, we might not have made it because we had more sophomores playing.
Right.
But I think that, and I had the best player on the floor every game. That helped.
Chamberlain?
Yeah, he was he was the best player on the floor for about 3 straight years. So that helped, but I do think that the team that made it first had a better chance to make it, if it makes sense. I think that second year we lived off that first one a little bit.
100%.
Still got to do it, but I think there's that confidence and expectation, we are supposed to be there.
Yeah. I think that's the Ravenwood team that you talked about, the one that actually won it. I don't know that one makes it to the state championship game, but then they lose in overtime. They come back the next year. They expect it to be there. And you've talked a lot about it with some of the Brentwood teams. And we might have mentioned this earlier. There's no doubt about it. This Page team, this Page football program now, where Coach Rathbone's got it, these guys expect to win, even when they're probably not supposed to. They expect to win.
They've got it.
They jumped on Forrest's back, said, "We're gonna win."
Getting new facilities out there.
Yeah.
Here comes Page.
Let's go.
Here they come. All right, Tate, let's talk about Pick'ems.
What happened?
Well, it's over, which we've known for a few weeks. So in the last 2 weeks, the fans go 1-1 the past couple weeks. As I mentioned, everybody picked Nolensville except.
That was good.
Dr. Qualls went 0-2. He went outside.
He picked Henry?
Yes.
Golly.
So he and the fans, so there's something to play for, fans. Go to WCS CO Athletics on Twitter because you and Dr. Qualls are going head-to-head.
I mean, the way he's been going, he'll probably pick West.
I think he probably will. And the fans will pick Page for sure. I don't think we're getting a lot of West fans voting. I have 65 wins. I did go 2-0 last couple weeks. And Tate, 70 wins. 5 ahead of second place. That's pretty impressive. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Job well done.
Bunging Up Pig, maybe? Do I get a burger at Bunging Up Pig for this?
At least an appetizer. You know, the bologna never disappoints.
Never, ever disappoints.
So that brings us to our matchup this week. So you can pick anybody. I mean, you got it. I've got it, but I'm going to pick with my heart and my head. I think they're destined to win it. I think Page is getting it done. Now you look at the West. We've got their schedule here, Tate. They've had some impressive wins. You're talking about a big win over Farragut. You're talking about a win over Alcoa, which is not going to be easy to do. A win over Maryville. A win over the defending state champions, Powell, who you thought had a chance to make it all the way back.
Yep.
They beat them 28-21 in the semis. So they're a really good team on paper. They're favored. Mm-hmm. But these games aren't played on paper.
No.
Coach Rathbone's getting it done. Page, state champion.
Ooh, 13-2, state champs. Well, you're right. West, I kind of like to make fun of them because they used to be like not very good.
And they go by Knoxville West, Knox West, West. I mean,
Right.
it's
And then
you can't just go West. I see West listed like, no, there's lots of Wests.
well, and first of all, when you're looking at the state of Tennessee, you're not West, so it's confusing.
The West side of Knoxville.
So when you get on Coach T to get the schedules, which I do too, very good. That's the only thing I do on Coach T. What does it say right there, Coach Joins?
The West Rebels.
So if you've ever been on Coach T and you list the schedules, it's in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, which, have you noticed this? There's only one school that plays football in the state of Tennessee that starts with an I. They're under I all by themselves.
Independence.
Yeah, I wouldn't have get it,
That's good. It's good.
So what does it say? West. It's in the W's. It doesn't say Knoxville West or the Dollywood dump at West. It just says West. That's misleading. It's not good.
So just because of that, you pick Page.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. So those Farragut, who was Beach's only loss of the season, week 1, I don't think they beat them. Farragut's not a great team, but they're a good team. Alcoa is a really good team. Maryville, we saw that Friday night. They're not Coach Quarles, Maryville. And then the Powell wins. Those are really hard. Lamar Brown's a good coach. He's been doing it a long time, man. So with that being said, I'm with you. I think the Page Patriots, I think they're more physical. I take that back. I know they're more physical. They're very well-rounded, and I think they got a guy who, not that, McNamara almost did it last year too. I think they got a guy that can get them there, and I think Page is going to get the win. I'm with you.
I think Page, this sounds nuts, this is going to be as healthy as they've been in several weeks.
Which is crazy considering who they've gone through.
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't been as physical. And who knows, man, now that you say it, White County might have been the one you wanted to stay away from.
Yeah.
Because the style of play they
Right.
play. Maybe, who knows, maybe if it had been, maybe
Right.
if Page had won the district.
That's right.
Anyways, so.
You're right.
I'm going with the Page Patriots. Coach Bone, bring home that gold ball, brother.
Now listen, this rarely happens. We got a couple minutes. I want you to do this real quick if you don't mind.
Okay.
Let's go through. Tell us who's playing and tell me who you think will win. 1A.
McKenzie and Clay County,
And you have?
Boat Race City, McKenzie.
Okay. 2A.
2A is Tyner, Huntington.
Who you got?
I don't think it's Boat Race City. I'm going Tyner.
Okay. 3A.
Alcoa, East Nashville.
Alcoa.
I love Coach Stewart, but it didn't happen.
I'll pick that one with you. Alcoa. 4A.
4A is Pearl Cone,
Firebirds.
the Firebirds, the Fighting Coach Brunettis, and Anderson County, who's 14-0 as well. Oh, I'm going Pearl Cone, man.
I agree.
Okay.
And I'd like to see it happen.
Me too.
And then in 6A, Beach versus Oakland. I will pick this one. I'm going Crabtree and Beach.
Okay. You think I'm just doing this because we're buddies with him and I want to go along with you. I'm not. Nobody is running the football better
Nobody.
than Beach. I have seen it firsthand. if you are good at running the ball, you can run the ball against Oakland. And I think Darius Johnson is legit, the running back at Beach. I think Beach beats him.
That'd be something.
State championships in 5A and 6A would be unbelievable. So,
And when the season started, no one, including them, would have picked that.
no.
Not in 6A.
You text him every week before the playoffs. What about Cane Ridge scares you? Everything. What about da-da-da?
That's the one.
He's Lou Holtz, man, but a better personality.
I knew that once the playoffs got started, they had a chance. But when I saw the score with Cane Ridge, because you've been saying it all year, how good they are.
If you had to talk to him before the game, he'd have told you Cane Ridge is going to beat him.
Yeah, I'm going Bucks on that one. But most importantly, this is the WCS show. We're going Page. Let's bring home state championship number 2 in the fall.
And Page is Friday night.
Friday night.
You can go, you can support them, you can get back. It doesn't mess up SEC championship, ACC, none of that stuff. There's no reason not to be there.
6 o'clock Central.
6 o'clock
7
Central.
o'clock local.
7 o'clock local Eastern. It is, if you haven't been, it is a great stadium. It's a great setup.
It is.
It's easy in and out. There's restaurants, walkable. There's no reason not to go. It's going to be good weather on Friday. Get out there and support them.
Well, Tate, next week, looking forward to talking about this game. Also looking forward to talking about bowling, and we're going to talk some hoops. Here it comes.
Hey, I think there's
And wrestling. We got some wrestling going too.
No doubt about it. I think there's already some hoops teams that are trying to stake their claim of
I think they are too.
follow the leader.
No doubt. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you as always.
You too, brother.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.